And I'm not saying allegedly.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
For years, Jay-Z has carefully engineered his persona like a luxury brand. Sleek, untouchable, billionaire smooth. He went from Marcy projects to brunch with billionaires, from rap battles to White House visits. But now, a chill is cutting through that polished exterior, and it's coming from beneath the mansions, from whispers buried under marble floors and velvet-draped parties. Whispers that are turning into roars.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
We're talking about secret underground gatherings. No, not the kind with velvet ropes and overpriced bubbly. These are the sort of rumored events that don't make page 6, but that bodyguards allegedly quit over, that insiders only describe with nervous looks and vague metaphors. According to chatter circling industry veterans, Jay-Z didn't just attend these parties, he hosted them. In fact, sources claim he orchestrated entire nights of depravity alongside none other than Sean Diddy Combs. Parties so tightly controlled, guests were reportedly forced to sign NDAs, hand over their phones, and forget what morality looked like on the way in. One former security contractor swears he witnessed limousines dropping off attendees in complete silence, ushered through side gates into elevators that led not to the living room, but to sublevels. Basement spaces lit by red fixtures where rules didn't apply and where the word consent got murky. We're not just talking about wild nights and ego-drunk celebrities. The stories point toward a controlled environment of power games, surveillance, and silence, a world where leverage was currency and indulgence came with a price.
And then what's the stuff that's happening with Wendy Williams? Do you think this is all connection to?
Of course.
And for the longest time, the public looked at Diddy. Diddy was loud, Diddy was excessive, Diddy was reckless. Jay-Z, he stayed in the shadows of the storm. As Diddy's legal disaster ballooned, human trafficking, coercion, even more disturbing allegations, Jay-Z remained eerily untouched. Not a headline, not a subpoena, just photos with Beyonce and cameos at Disney premieres. But now, there's a crack in the shield. Jay-Z's name has landed in an amended federal lawsuit accused of unthinkable acts at an MTV afterparty in 2000 alongside Diddy. And suddenly, the innocent bystander theory isn't aging well.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
This is where things get even darker, because behind those red carpet smiles and boardroom meetings, rumors are swirling about ritualistic behavior, initiation-style acts, hidden cameras, blackmail material being quietly collected on high-level guests, the kind of things people usually dismiss as internet conspiracies, until someone gets indicted. Was Jay-Z just another face in the room, or was he the one turning the key to the mansion's back door? Some insiders say these underground parties weren't just celebrations, they were chessboards. Influence was traded, secrets bought and sold, and the most dangerous currency in the room wasn't cash, it was footage. Diddy's been caught, his entire empire is imploding under the weight of decades-old skeletons, federal raids, hundreds of lawsuits, surveillance footage, and yet, somehow, Jay-Z has managed to skate past the fallout, despite being there, despite being at that party, despite sharing business deals, music credits, and Godfather status with Diddy himself. How? One name keeps coming up in hushed tones. Beyonce. That her calculated media strategy helped deflect attention, that her red carpet poise was part of the distraction. But even Queen Bey can't keep this lid on forever, because there's one man actively ripping it off, post by post, punchline by punchline.
So that's just competitive energy.
Competitiveness.
All right, so you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really rock with him.
Okay,
like that.
damn, all right. I didn't know what that meant.
Okay.
All right, okay.
Enter 50 Cent, the chaos agent, the disruptor, the one rapper you don't want making memes about your court date. And make no mistake, this isn't trolling, this is war. 50 has turned his longtime rivalry with Jay-Z into a slow drip expose. In December, he posted, then deleted, a shot at Jay's Mufasa premiere appearance, mocking, "Jay said they said I rapped a kid. Everybody get dressed, we going to see Mufasa, lol." Not subtle, not playful, straight into the red zone. And it didn't stop there.
Interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
50's dropped an AI video showing Jay-Z and Diddy getting hauled off in tuxedos. He's teased his Netflix docuseries Diddy Do It like it's a time bomb counting down to detonation. And according to people close to the production, the footage he's obtained isn't just about Diddy. It points fingers toward Jay-Z too. Private jets, offshore events, surveillance angles, even footage, insiders say, shows recognizable figures entering back entrances of compounds known for events that were later wiped from social calendars. Let's not forget 50's no choir boy. He's played this game a long time and he's played it dirty. But the difference now? He doesn't want payback, he wants exposure. Sources close to the G-Unit team say this doc isn't just tabloid fodder, it's personal. That 50's been collecting receipts on both moguls for years, waiting for the moment when the public would finally start asking, wait, was Jay-Z actually in the room with Diddy? Not just friends, not just collaborators, but co-conspirators in an industry underworld people are terrified to admit even exists.
Jay-Z got his whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your whooped.
And the most chilling detail of all, the alleged 2000 MTV afterparty, where the lawsuit claims a young girl was given a drink, led to a room, and left traumatized, is the very same event where both Diddy and Jay-Z were present. The complaint describes a chilling scene, a drink that made her woozy, a non-disclosure agreement pushed into her hands, a female celebrity watching from the corner, silent. Jay-Z's legal team has gone on the offensive, calling the lawsuit stupid and accusing the victim's attorney of attempted blackmail. But even that pushback has only fanned the flames. Because when you're named in the same breath as a man facing over 100 lawsuits and a federal human trafficking indictment, people start connecting dots you can't just erase. Jay-Z claims he's being targeted because he wouldn't pay a dime. But others in the industry say this is bigger than hush money. It's about what happens when the quiet ones at the top of the pyramid finally get dragged into the mud with everyone else. Beyonce, according to insiders, has been bracing for this moment, working with crisis consultants, coaching Blue Ivy through it, holding her husband's hand at premieres while headlines scream. But even the most powerful image consultants can't stop what's leaking now.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce.
Behind closed doors, there's talk that Jay-Z helped plan these industry gatherings. Not just show up, that some were held at private properties in the Hamptons and Bel Air, disguised as charity events or after-parties, but where only certain people had the codes to the locked stairways. Some attendees claimed that beneath one mansion, a second floor below ground held panic rooms, with soundproofed walls and no security cams. Others recall names on guest lists that disappeared within hours. You wouldn't know unless you were invited, and even then, you'd better keep your mouth shut if you wanted to keep working in this town.
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand?
So why is 50 Cent going this hard? Is it revenge? Business? Ego? Or does he know something the rest of us are just beginning to understand? That this rabbit hole doesn't end with Diddy, and Jay-Z might not just be collateral, he might be the keystone. And if 50 truly has what he says, if his footage, interviews, and leaked documents reach daylight, then that throne Jay-Z's been polishing for decades may be standing on sand.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup.
If the accusations swirling around Jay-Z hold even a fraction of truth, the fallout won't just take down a billionaire. It could send a shockwave through the entire entertainment machine. Because once you start pulling at the thread of these alleged parties, you don't just find rappers, you find athletes, executives, foreign dignitaries, A-list actors, people who've always stayed clean by design. There's talk from 2 former event planners, anonymous for obvious reasons, that guest lists from some of these underground events included names we'd never expect. They claim there were entire groups of people who showed up at night, unlisted on any public itinerary, protected by PR firms with ties to major news outlets. If true, this isn't a scandal, it's an ecosystem. And Jay-Z? He might have been sitting at the center of it, not as a puppet, but as the puppeteer.
If that's part of the indictment, that's somewhat like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
What scares people most isn't the crime, it's the coordination. These weren't spur-of-the-moment parties. We're talking about operations involving security sweeps, NDA enforcement teams, silent servers, encrypted communication apps, and insiders trained to clean up messes before daylight. Multiple insiders have described a red room code, supposedly an alert system used to signal when high-profile guests needed to be rerouted, protected, or neutralized. And when federal investigators began tightening the noose around Diddy, a quiet panic allegedly gripped some of these other players. A retired stylist, once linked to Roc Nation clients, claimed she witnessed people wiping phones, scrubbing files, even pulling surveillance feeds the minute Diddy's houses were raided. That kind of fear doesn't come from guilt alone. It comes from knowing someone else might talk.
Trump pardoning Diddy will create another Epstein for him. It would be a nightmare. And last and certainly not least, the GOP is already struggling with female voters. And they're not all lefties. There are young conservative women who aren't in love with Trump or MAGA. There are. And this will not help. It's very clear. We all saw the videotape of him beating the hell out of Cassandra.
And where was Beyonce through all of this? Front row at the Mufasa premiere, eyes locked on Blue Ivy, smiles practiced to perfection. But inside the Carter's mansion, insiders say the mood is very different. According to one source close to a crisis PR firm in Los Angeles, the same team that reportedly handled damage control during her sister Solange's infamous elevator scene is now allegedly managing round-the-clock strategy, image control, narrative shaping, targeted leaks, and legal shielding. But here's the twist. Another insider claims there's tension brewing beneath the platinum perfect surface. That Beyonce, despite her support in public, is furious in private, furious at the risk to their children, furious at being dragged into a mess that isn't hers, and especially furious that this might not be over.
And we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
Several whispers coming out of their inner circle suggest Beyonce has considered contingency plans. One former tour producer who worked with her during the Renaissance era claims she's too smart not to plan for escape routes. There's speculation, unconfirmed but persistent, that she's quietly moved certain assets into private trusts, that she's separated key business interests, and more than one Hollywood divorce attorney has told reporters off the record that a major client in the entertainment world has begun gathering files. Does that mean a split is coming? Not necessarily, but it does mean the empire's foundation is shifting. And when the queen starts building a lifeboat, you know the ship might already be taking on water. Still, while Jay-Z tries to hold his empire together with statements and legal filings, 50 Cent has taken a torch to the entire structure. And he's not moving in silence. He's broadcasting his hits like he's scoring a movie. With each deleted post, each cryptic meme, each dig at Mufasa and the Super Bowl, 50 Cent is tightening the narrative. He's shaping public perception in real time, framing Jay-Z not as an innocent mogul caught in friendly fire, but as a shadowy figure who's been protected too long. And now, there's the Netflix project, Diddy Do It. A name that sounds cheeky on the surface, but according to those involved, it's going to be anything but. We've heard from multiple producers that what's coming is raw, time-stamped, and damning, not just hearsay, files, footage, testimony.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
And if what people are whispering is true, Jay-Z won't be an aside, he'll be a chapter. Maybe the chapter, because the entire project backed by G-Unit Films is allegedly loaded with insider interviews from former bodyguards, assistants, and even one tech specialist who claims to have been paid to disable and wipe smart home systems before certain events. These aren't stories plucked from Reddit. These are people who were in the room or just outside it. People who say they saw a minor guest escorted out unconscious. People who say they were paid to make sure no recordings left the premises. And now, in the fallout of Diddy's implosion, they're starting to talk. The turning point in this unraveling saga may have come not from a leaked video or a courtroom filing, but from a pair of unassuming raids that took place in March 2024, when federal agents stormed two of Diddy's properties, one in Los Angeles, the other in Miami. They weren't just looking for headline. What they found, according to court documents and insider leaks, included encrypted servers, hidden hard drives, and entire rooms full of personal effects, allegedly used to maintain control over partygoers. More than one agent described the interiors as curated environments, suggesting these were not spontaneous celebrity hangouts, but highly structured operations. A chilling inventory surfaced soon after. Thousands of bottles of lubricant, memory cards without labels, and non-disclosure agreements stacked in safes.
Been afraid of coming forward. They've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
What caught investigators most off guard wasn't the volume, it was the documentation. Multiple sources close to the investigation claimed the seized hard drives contained cataloged footage from party surveillance systems, meticulously timestamped and organized by room. Names were allegedly tied to events. Some videos were even cross-referenced against private jet logs and guest arrival sheets. It's within that digital jungle, many believe, that the real danger lies for figures beyond Diddy. Among the many encrypted folders, speculation has been brewing that Jay-Z's name may have appeared, possibly as an organizer, possibly as a guest of interest, or perhaps tied to one of the silent holding companies that bankrolled the venues. No confirmation has emerged yet, but the silence from federal spokespeople has only intensified the speculation. Adding to the paranoia, federal sources have reportedly prioritized decrypting files that seem to connect to high-value individuals, those with political ties, global influence, and yes, billion-dollar entertainment brands. A handful of subpoenas have already gone out quietly, according to leaks, targeting entities linked to event logistics, catering firms, and private security contractors. The theory? That these parties were not just excess-fueled celebrity benders, but carefully orchestrated events designed to blur boundaries and generate leverage. With Diddy already facing a mountain of charges, investigators may now be peeling back the next layer of complicity, and Jay-Z's empire, once thought to be above the storm, may be bracing for impact.
The question is he a criminal? Is he basically akin to a mob boss running several criminal enterprises? And while it's very clear to me he is a depraved, disgusting person, we have to prove that he violated the law.
The question that keeps circling, why now? Why is 50 Cent pushing this so hard, so publicly? Yes, there's the long-standing beef, yes, there's history, but some speculate this goes deeper. One source with ties to the project insists that 50 got access to material that changed how he looked at the whole industry, that this isn't just revenge, it's revelation, that he sees himself not just as a whistleblower, but as the last man standing who isn't afraid of what the spotlight might show. And that's why he's dangerous. Because while others hide behind lawyers and labels, 50 is out here laughing in the open, saying things no one else dares to say. He's not looking to settle, he's looking to expose. So what happens if the leaks start dropping? If the doc lands with footage, names, and dates that connect the dots between Diddy's documented crimes and Jay-Z's alleged role in orchestrating the rooms those crimes happened in? What happens if it doesn't stop at rappers, but stretches into award-winning producers, streaming giants, government advisors, and elite donors? This isn't about tabloid drama anymore. It's about how much power the entertainment world has used to bury its rot. And if 50 Cent's not bluffing, that rot is about to be dragged into the sun.
Unfortunately, we're all going to take a disgusting trip to his seedy, awful world. The man has no class. He has no kindness in his dark, dark heart. And he's depraved. That's my opinion. This is a depraved, disgusting individual about whom I wish to hear nothing after this trial is done.
Which brings us back to where this all started. Those parties, those basements, those soundproof rooms beneath glass mansions, guarded by silence and contracts. Because if even one of the allegations tied to those spaces is proven, the damage won't be contained to a single courtroom or a single scandal. It'll be an earthquake. One that pulls the floor out from under an entire industry. So people have long suspected that certain figures stayed on top not because they were the best, but because they knew what others had done when no one was supposed to be watching. Now, someone's watching. So now we have to ask, is 50 Cent about to detonate the most explosive secret in modern music history? Could Jay-Z, the man who once said he was not a businessman but a businessman, be facing the end of the empire he built from the shadows? And if the gates open, who else is about to be pulled down with him? What do you think is hiding behind the velvet curtains of those elite Hollywood gatherings? Could this be the unraveling of the Carter dynasty? Or just another power move in a decades-long feud? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this story is far from over. Stay curious, stay alert, and stay out of the red room. We'll see you next time.